Hey loves, we are exactly 3 weeks or 21 days away from Valentine's Day, and my goal is to make sure that you manifest your specific person so you can spend Valentine's Day with them and live the most luxurious and abundant, or have the most luxurious and abundant date you've ever dreamed of, and so that it is a dream come true. And so today we're going to go over 3 steps to manifest your specific person by Valentine's Day. 3 things I think are extremely important when it comes to manifesting. But honestly, I am going to go into so much detail. This may turn into a 3-part series. So depending on how much detail I go into on each of these, okay? So here's the first one. And this is the first way we're going to get into the state, because we know we have to assume as if we already have it. And the belief is the most important. So step 1 is belief. And the way we're actually going to get this is through a concept called self-efficacy. Okay. So with self-efficacy, it's a little different from self-concept. We all know self-concept. Self-concept is your ability, or basically affirming your own self-worth, right? Like saying, I can do this. This is something, or not, I could do this. You're like, I deserve this. You know that you have the right to exist. You're confident, right? And that's self-concept. And we know we've all done self-concept stuff all the time. We know it's the foundation in which we build our entire manifestation from. But there's another side of the coin that I talked about before, and a lot of people wanted kind of an added extra video on this idea of self-efficacy. But so I was like, what better way to do this? Because this is what's going to bring you to your specific person on Valentine's Day. So self-efficacy is your ability, or your confidence in your ability to achieve something. Okay? So that's to be capable of producing a desired result, is what I wrote. I feel like that's like a very good way of describing it. So learning, or having confidence in your ability to learn and make decisions, your self-trust, and your self-reliance. And so most of us are right now maybe even be thinking, what? I didn't even know there's a difference. I thought that was all self-concept, right? But there is a difference. So a different aspect of self-concept that we're going to focus on, because I also want to introduce a Neville Goddard quote and then go into further detail of how we're going to use self-efficacy. So here's a quote by Neville Goddard. So you are one with your present conception of yourself, but you are greater than that which you are at present aware of being. Until this is firmly established so that no suggestion or argument put forward by others can shake it, you will find yourself returning to the restrictions of your former beliefs. So belief is our step 1. And this is going to basically be used and formed through self-efficacy. And I'll explain exactly how we're going to do that. But just think about that Neville Goddard quote. If we don't change or understand that we can do more, we're going to constantly be brought back to that previous state of being over and over and over again. And it's never going to have us change. So right now, basically, if you don't believe that you can be with your specific person by Valentine's Day, how could we ever get there, right? We're just going to return to those previous restrictions as soon as we stop thinking about it. Because if you truly don't believe that you can do it, nothing in this reality is going to bring it to you, because it's your assumptions that are creating. So right now, I want you to ask yourself, and maybe even affirm it down below. I want everyone to comment, I am going to be with my specific person on Valentine's Day. So comment. I know a lot of us think that we don't actually have to. Seriously, comment that right now. I am going to be with my specific person on Valentine's Day. And this is going to be the first setting intention of in motion of how we're basically going to accomplish this. Because again, it's step 1. And you might be like, Kyle, I already believe it, but we can believe it more, because it is, again, 3 weeks away. And so basically the goal, again, is for everyone to manifest in 3 weeks. And this actually isn't something new with my members. We have been in this motion already, and people have been getting really, really good results. So applause to all my members. You guys are doing fantastic. Anyways, so remember, how can something show up for us if we don't believe it? How can we assume to be something if we truly don't feel as if we can actually have it? And so that's what we're going to get into. And so let's explain a little bit more of self-efficacy, and then we'll kind of go into how we're going to do this and why this actually matters. So someone with low self-efficacy, so someone who feels I can't do this, think of the last thing you're like, I just can't do that. You've set in motion, set your restrictions upon yourself, and you can't do that. But someone with low self-efficacy connects to our external reality. So we are connecting to what is right outside of us right here and right now. Okay, that's a very good sign of low self-efficacy. And we sometimes all do that, so that's okay. But being stuck in where we're at, thinking just because, like, this might be a thought that you're having, thinking, oh, because my specific person isn't texting me right now, I can't manifest them by Valentine's Day. Or if I was going to manifest them by Valentine's Day, they would be calling me all the time right now. That is an essence of low self-efficacy. The only reason you believe that, and you're allowing it to kind of take control over your reality, is because you feel that you can't do it, but you can do it. I don't even care. It doesn't matter what you're thinking and feeling right now. You can manifest exactly what you want. You have the power. You can believe me. You cannot believe me. It's not going to change the fact that you have the power right now. But this connection or stuckness on our external reality causes us to remain exactly where we're at, because you must basically see or imagine the unseen before it is seen. Everything you could ever want is at a time before you get into the state unseen and unavailable in our 3D. Everything's available within now. But that's a really good sign of a low self-efficacy. So already we're getting into this feeling of, okay, so actually the reason I'm worrying about my 3D reality or the external, or worrying or thinking I can't do such and such because of something, is this connection to our external. And I'm going to say yes, 100%. That just means internally we feel we can't do it. So then in that case, in the opposite, then high self-efficacy makes us, or when we have a high self-efficacy, we rely within ourselves and our imagination. So we understand that we have the ability to create and change everything, right? You know, and have the confidence that you can do something. Remember, that's what self-efficacy is, the ability and thought that you can do this. And I might even give another example of self-efficacy. So think about, you probably have a extremely high efficacy when it comes to your job, right? You show up and it's really easy, right? And you get probably problems come in, or there's tasks to do, and you know that you can complete them regardless of what is happening around you, right? That's something that is going to be very dominant in someone that has a high self-efficacy. Problems come and they know, I may not know how to solve it right now, but I will, because you know that you can do it, right? And what happens when something at your job comes up that you don't know? If you have a high self-efficacy, you're like, I'm gonna solve this, and you always do, right? Every single time you do. But if you feel I can't solve this, then you don't. But hopefully you're seeing the relationship of this then to our reality, because then we're understanding the whole reason why we're manifesting or not manifesting has to do with our ability of thinking as if we can. And so this leads then into another aspect, because again, I'm reiterating a lot of stuff because this is really powerful. You're manifesting by Valentine's Day, okay? Low self-efficacy connects with the 3D. High self-efficacy connects with the self, knowing I can do it, focusing on you have the ability. Low self-efficacy says, yeah, but these things are happening and stopping me. And this actually has to do also with extrinsic or intrinsic motivation. And that's okay if you've never heard of that before, but it's kind of like our cheat code to manifesting in the quickest possible way. And so extrinsic motivation is motivation from the outside. Okay. So when you're like, I'm motivated by external things. When you get motivated by a text message from your specific person or a phone call or a date, that's extrinsic motivation. And intrinsic motivation is motivation from the inside, like knowing you can do it, having the understanding, the feeling of love that you get just from imagining your specific person. If that's your motivation, that's intrinsic. And so, again, think about the connection of these two. If we are only motivated by external events, then we are extrinsically motivated and we have a low self-efficacy because we're going to be continuously reactive to the external reality, right? If we are focusing on, I'm only going to be motivated when I receive a text message, then we can't do, signs always follow, as Neville Goddard would say, they never proceed. You're never going to get the message, the relationship, and then feel that way. We have to feel that way first. So then someone who is basically in intrinsic motivation, this person has a high self-efficacy. And so then high self-efficacy trusts divine guidance, right? So you know everything is happening good. You have this intrinsic motivation. You're in alignment. You're not connecting with the external reality. And you are then in this trustworthiness and understanding, or actually even hearing your divine guidance. Because Dr. Joseph Murphy talks about, and you guys have heard me say this before because it is so powerful. If we are in a negative, despondent, or bitter mood, divine guidance is impossible. As a matter of fact, only negative guidance will prevail. And this is what I've been saying forever. No matter what state you're in, that's what the divine guidance is going to support for you. So if you're having fears or worries about your negative reality, everything around you is going to feel like it supports that. And that's like when you have a bad day and the entire day seemingly goes really bad. But if instead you remember, oh my gosh, I'm not even going to see this awesome, amazing divine guidance leading me to what I want until I'm in a positive and abundant mood, because then the next Joseph Murphy quote that I feel like is really perfect for this is, if we are in a happy, confident, joyous mood, we will recognize the flashes of intuition that comes to us. Moreover, we will feel under subjective compulsion to carry them out. It is necessary, therefore, to be still and relaxed when you pray for guidance, for nothing can be achieved by tenseness, fear, or apprehension. And I kind of want to focus on those last three, the tenseness, fear, and apprehension. When do you feel those? When's the last time you felt tenseness, fear, or apprehension? When we've been looking at the 3D. Literally, I've said this over and over and over again. I'll say it again. All of your anxieties and all of your worries ever when it comes to manifestation have everything to do with worrying about how or when. Okay? When you're worrying about how your manifestation is going to come in, anxiety. When you're worrying about when your manifestation is going to come in, anxiety. But that's okay. I'll take over the when right now, because our when is our Valentine's Day. So you don't have to worry about how or when. I've set that in motion for you. So all you have to do is watch this video and you'll be all set to go. Okay? But again, I want to reiterate, extrinsic motivation. So outside focus, 3D reality, that leads to and is caused by low self-efficacy. So unless the belief you can't do it. When you're focusing massively on your external, it is this belief that you can't do it. But if instead you focus on intrinsic motivation, so again, the feeling, your state, your imagination, that's what propels you, that feeling. That's high self-efficacy because you know you can do this thing, right? And so you are. And this is the whole first step of our entire journey together, is understanding the belief that you absolutely can. And so I'm going to include a success story that talks about this concept of efficacy or self-efficacy. And I'm going to put it up right now. And the reason I want to use this one, and I'll read it for you, it says, what's so funny is that I wanted to manifest a text for my SP, and I got it after booking the call with you. So they wanted to book a call to manifest a text. They got it literally with the intention of booking it. So that's how powerful your intention can be. But they said, but I still want to talk about how to keep going. So then we met. And then they had a date with their specific person after we met, and they wrote, the date went so well. And then they talked about the date and said, I legit think I manifested meeting my person. We went to one of the nicest places in the cities for drinks and then got Thai food. They drove and parked my car for me. We went back to so SP drove and parked their car for them. That's like Princess Queen treatment right there. And we went back to their apartment. I met their dog, and not kidding, like the best kiss of their life. That's absolutely amazing. We have a second date next week. So this next week again, and I just responded, we're in talking about their next date as well. All from this intention setting of a singular phone call. But think about this. If they didn't know and believe they could, look at all the divine guidance that they would have been missing, right? So the whole divine guidance to maybe even see a video and to reach out to me, and then the divine guidance to book a phone call, and the texts, the dates, them parking their car for them, and then quote, the best kiss of their life. All of that is through this concept of divine guidance, right? That totally would have been completely missed because of self-efficacy, because of intrinsic motivation leading to that higher state, because we're focusing on it, to then receive that in our reality. And I want to give you a technique that I actually gave them in order to kind of support this or get into this state of self-efficacy or belief that you can do it. And that is the let them impress you technique. Because how do we usually act towards our specific person? Usually we feel we have to impress them, right? We want to go above and beyond to impress them, make them care for us, right? All of this stuff. But if instead, what state is that coming from? That's coming from a state that our specific person doesn't like us. Because why do we need to impress someone who loves and cares for us right here and right now, right? It doesn't make sense. So instead, don't feel like you need to impress your specific person. Understand and let them impress you, because they want to impress you. And the more you're trying to impress them, you're trying to go above and beyond and have a loss of self, you're basically losing your self-trust, losing your self-reliance, and losing your self-efficacy. Because how do you feel when you're going above and beyond, chasing, overly desiring, and obsessing over someone? We don't feel good at all. And so this is what I want you to do, a technique to use to change self-efficacy, as well as all of the other stuff we talked about. And this is, again, the first step in doing this. And when you see this change, you're going to see again, because you may not believe me, but your specific person wants to impress you massively. They want to come to you. I've said this in all my previous video too. They're literally praying and begging to be with you. And as soon as we switch this polarization and allow that to happen, then we're going to see it begin to occur. But until then, it's always going to be this chasing effect happening. Okay? Because the more we chase, the more the more we focus on our external reality, and then the more we just reiterate it because we see something negative and we go, well, that's why we can't be together, and it ends up in the cycle. But that's not true. Break that cycle. I've talked about success stories where people broke that cycle and instantly manifested. It's totally within your power right here and right now. So remember that. Always, always, always remember that. And so let them impress you. Just think of that. How can they impress me right now? Think of that every single step of the way. When you're with them, when you're not with them, when you're texting, when you're in your inner conversations. Let them impress you, and you're going to see the shift in your self-efficacy begin to happen. So I'm thinking I'm going to make this into a 3-part series, because I'm like, this video is like 20 minutes long, and I don't want to overload people with too much, because I think maybe it is a good time to kind of take some time to really think about this stuff and implement it before we go on to the next one. If you guys did want a little help too, basically, so we're manifesting your specific person for Valentine's Day. Just know that, okay? You now have no choice in the matter. So keep this in mind. Again, any anxieties or worries, send it over to me. I'm doing that for you because we're working together to manifest your specific person. Comment any questions ideas, things like that in the comment section below. Remember, you can also reach out to me on my website and this journey at kyleaugustcoaching.com. Again, that's where you can reach me directly if you don't want to comment your question down below. Again, as well, if you did want some kind of extra updates for all my members, I'm always posting a meditation. So just a quick shout out. I have a meditation for you guys today on this concept of Valentine's Day. So make sure to check that out later. I'll probably upload this video first. If you did want to become a member, down below. We also meet every Sunday. So if that's something that you want to do, you want to kind of have an extra coaching session, absolutely love to have you, but don't feel like you have to because you're still manifesting your specific person by Valentine's Day, right? We're doing it right here and right now. So keep an eye out. Make sure to like this video and subscribe so you do not miss my future videos, because I think it is best to make this into like a 3 little part series. So tomorrow I'm going to try to hold off on giving too much information so it's not an overload. But thanks again so much for stopping by today, and I can't wait to see how you guys do with this today, and then I'll see you in the next video tomorrow.